Welcome to the most toxic place on the internet. It isn't a dark web forum or a radical message board, it's a professional network. A digital hall of mirrors where human ambition goes to die in a sea of fake positivity and corporate propaganda. On LinkedIn, failure is rebranded as a learning opportunity, and burnout is disguised as hustle. We have built a platform that rewards the performative and punishes the authentic. A place where every post is a sanitized lie and every connection is a transaction. You aren't building a career, you are building a cage. Today, we peel back the polished veneer of the world's most delusional platform. It's time to face the LinkedIn horror show, the architecture of fakeness. The architecture of LinkedIn is not built for professionals, it is built for actors. It is a high-tech Skinner box, a psychological laboratory designed to reward a very specific, sanitized type of human behavior, the performance of success. The algorithm has no sensory capacity for the messiness of actual life. It has no room for your late-night doubts, your quiet struggles, or the unpolished truths of a failing project. It is programmed to detect and amplify only three frequencies: the pivot, the win, and the eternal gratitude. We have been conditioned to filter our very existence through a lens of corporate optimism, creating a feedback loop of collective delusion that feels like a career path but functions like a digital sedative. When you scroll through your feed, you aren't witnessing the growth of a professional community. You are walking through a curated gallery of masks. Every humbled and honored announcement is a calculated data point, a strategic move in a game where the prize is the temporary approval of a machine. This is the optimism bias turned into a weapon of mass distraction. By forcing every human interaction into a positive frame, the platform effectively lobotomizes professional discourse. You cannot speak truth to power when the interface only provides a thumbs up. You cannot admit to being truly lost when your profile is a permanent, public record of your journey to self-discovery. The pressure to be always on and always winning creates a psychological fragmentation. You become a ghost in a tailored suit, haunting your own digital identity. The system monitors your engagement, tracking how well you simulate the ideal employee. It rewards the performative and punishes the authentic by burying it under a mountain of sponsored content and thought leader platitudes. We are witnessing the industrialization of human empathy, where a personal tragedy is only valuable if it can be packaged into a leadership lesson with 5 bullet points and a call to action. This is the death of authenticity, replaced by a high-definition simulation of a life that no one is actually living. You aren't building a network, you are building your own cage, brick by polished brick. And the most terrifying part, you are being rewarded for your ability to lie to yourself in public over and over again, until the lie is the only thing left. The commodification of connection. In the digital bazaar of LinkedIn, a connection is no longer a human bond, it is a unit of currency. We have entered the era of the commodification of connection, where the person on the other side of the screen is not a peer, but a lead, a prospect, or a stepping stone. The platform encourages a parasitic form of social interaction disguised as networking. You are taught to reach out, not because you have something to say, but because you have something to sell. Even if that something is just a sanitized version of yourself. This is the industrialization of the handshake. We have traded the messy, unpredictable beauty of genuine human rapport for the cold, measurable efficiency of the value add. Every message in your inbox follows the same hollow script, a forced compliment, a vague observation, and the inevitable pivot to a quick chat. It is a dance of ghosts, where no one is actually listening because everyone is busy rehearsing their next pitch. The algorithm tracks these interactions not to facilitate friendship, but to map the velocity of your professional utility. It ranks your human worth based on your reach, your endorsements, and your ability to generate engagement from a crowd of strangers. Your 500+ connections are not a community, they are a living resume, a digital tombstone for your social life. The system has successfully colonized your empathy. You find yourself liking a post about a colleague's promotion, not because you feel joy, but because the interface has made the alternative feel like a social failure. You are performing the labor of friendship for the benefit of a processor. This constant state of transactional awareness erodes your ability to see people as ends in themselves. They become resources to be mined. They become variables to be optimized. We are building a world where the only thing more tragic than being ignored by the system is being successfully integrated into it. You are becoming a node in a network that consumes everything it touches, leaving behind nothing but the dry, hollow husk of what used to be a personality. You are not expanding your horizons. You are shrinking your soul to fit into a profile picture. The death of the rebel. Innovation requires friction. It requires the courage to be wrong, the willingness to be hated, and the strength to stand outside the consensus. But LinkedIn is a machine built to eliminate friction. It is a digital sandpaper that smooths over the jagged edges of original thought until everything looks, sounds, and feels exactly the same. The rebel has been replaced by the thought leader, a title that is as hollow as the platitudes they peddle. These are not leaders of thought, they are curators of the obvious. They are the high priests of the status quo, translating corporate slogans into human-sounding sentences to keep the machinery of conformity running smoothly. If you have a radical idea, the system will not attack it, it will simply ignore it. The algorithm is a filter for comfort. It prioritizes the content that everyone can agree with, which is by definition content that says nothing new. This is how the rebel dies, not by execution, but by invisibility. You are forced to choose, remain authentic, and be buried in the archives of the ignored, or adopt the corporate dialect and be amplified. We are witnessing the birth of the personal brand, which is perhaps the most effective cage ever constructed for the human spirit. To have a brand is to be a product. It is to commit to a version of yourself that is static, predictable, and safe for consumption. A brand cannot grow. A brand cannot change its mind. A brand cannot admit to a crisis of faith. When you turn your personality into a business asset, you lose the right to be a person. You become a hostage to your own reputation, constantly policing your thoughts to ensure they align with the expectations of your network. We have created a culture where the appearance of expertise is more valuable than the expertise itself. We celebrate the person who can talk about the work more than the person who actually does it. This is the great inversion of the professional world. We are drowning in a sea of influencers who have never influenced anything but a metric. We are being led by people who are too afraid of a down vote to ever tell us the truth. The rebel is dead, and the brand is wearing his clothes. But remember, a system that cannot tolerate dissent is a system that cannot survive reality. You are being optimized into obsolescence. The final exodus. The greatest trick the system ever pulled was convincing you that your career depends on its approval. We have been gaslit into believing that without the blue light of the professional network, we are invisible. We are told that to leave is to commit professional suicide. But look closely at the walls of this digital office. They are made of nothing but code and consensus. They only have power because you continue to feed them your attention. The final exodus is not necessarily about deleting an app. It is about deleting the algorithm from your mind. It is about reclaiming the right to exist without being indexed. True power in the modern age is the ability to be unfindable by the machine while remaining indispensable to the world. It is the transition from a brand back into a human being. The system wants you to stay in the feed, debating platitudes and chasing endorsements, because as long as you are performing, you are not producing. You are not building anything real, you are just maintaining the simulation. But the cracks are forming. People are beginning to realize that the connections they've spent years cultivating are as hollow as the interface that hosts them. The exodus has already begun for those who value their sanity over their status. You must decide, will you continue to be a component in their horror show, or will you become the anomaly that breaks the loop? The world doesn't need more influencers. It needs more experts who are too busy doing the work to talk about it. It needs people who can look into the void of the digital age and refuse to blink. Your value is not a metric, your talent is not a keyword, your life is not a LinkedIn post. You were born to create, not to be consumed. Step out of the spotlight. Let the thought leaders have the stage. The real world is waiting in the silence, in the friction, and in the work that no one sees. This is the end of the show. The mask is off. Now, go live a life that the algorithm can't track. You are finally free of the feed.